Watching the film today, Lou Williams had mentioned it was one of those days where it went a little bit long, but sometimes it's embarrassing to watch that stuff, but you actually got a lot out of it.
I thought it was a good film session. I thought we had some good conversation in there. We showed some good stuff that we did. We showed some bad stuff. And it's, now that we're further along, a lot of it's pretty clear. Like when we get good shots on offense, it's because we cut hard and we set hard screens and we make that extra pass. When our offense gets stagnant, we slip screens, our bigs float to the perimeter, and the ball just kind of sticks with somebody. So I think our guys see that, and they obviously want to get better. So I think what we showed today was as productive as you do in a film session.
Obviously, when the Spurs play like that, they're tough to beat. But defensively, I know there was some frustration, at least on your part. What did you see on film defensively from your team?
The frustrating part was it felt like we had we withstood their first run, came back, cut it to 4, and then it was almost like we weren't willing to continue to play that hard, which is frustrating because that should never be the case. And I know guys were tired. It was a long trip out there, but that's an opportunity to go against one of the league's best. So you gotta fight through the fatigue and be up to the challenge. It felt like once they went on that second run late in the second quarter, we gave in.
You have young guys, and I've seen this before, when you guys are down big, that you'll still try to coach them at a timeout. You'll even get on them. And is it hard for them to understand that, hey, even when you're down 30, you still have teachable moments out there? Is it a challenge?
Well, it's, I think a lot of times as a player, you don't want to hear it when you're down 30, or really when you're up 30, to be honest. But it is where we're at. We need to take every opportunity that we have to coach and to teach. And, if there's coachable moments, no matter what the score is, I'm going to use that opportunity to try to get the point across to the guys, mainly the young guys. You give the vets obviously more slack on that stuff, but the young guys, and I'm quite aware of the situation and the score out here right now, but this is what needs to be done, and this is what we need practice doing. So we don't really care what the score is. This is an opportunity to get better at something. Let's use it to our advantage.
Back, like D'Angelo seemed to be pointing the finger at himself, saying it starts with me as far as just those slow starts and having the effort that's needed. So what do you think of that whole approach?
What do I think of D'Angelo, taking accountability?
Taking accountability, ownership of.
I love it, even if it's not his fault. Yeah. I still love it. Take responsibility upon ourselves. Carry the load. Good or bad, right or wrong. Instead of pointing fingers and whatever, there's always something as a player, as a coach, as a human, that you can do better. So instead of focusing on what other people need to do, focus on what we can do better, what you can do better, what I can do better. And if that's the mindset he's starting to adopt, then I like it.
Hey, Luke, you guys had a lot of success against the Clippers, especially in the third quarter on Christmas. That was maybe the high point of the last month or so for you guys. Can you recapture that because it's the same opponent, or is it you kind of have to throw out a single performance?
Well, it's you gotta take it knowing that Chris Paul wasn't playing. J.J. Redick got hurt, but we did some very good things in that game, and I got to get more into the tape. I spent last night rewatching and reliving the San Antonio 40-point loss, so I'll get more into that tape today. But yeah, there's always a lot to learn and take from the second time, second, third, fourth time you played the team. So hopefully we can get some of that energy back. But we'll see.
How do you view that game in the context of the last 25, 30 games? Just that game, was that the high point of the last month and a half for you guys, or was that the best effort?
No, to me the Memphis game was, honestly, but the Clipper game was right there for sure. But I thought the Memphis game defensively and rebounding, just how engaged and how much we were communicating was my favorite game up to this point. But the Clipper game was definitely a big one. We needed that one for our spirits and in our souls. It had been a tough go, and Christmas obviously with family and everything. That one felt pretty good to get.
The Christmas spirit, so to speak.
There you go.
You guys
We're good. We're good together.
I noticed that in the post-game interviews last night, every player seemed to mention that the Spurs were coming off that loss, and they responded. Was that a big message of last night? Is, hey, look what the Spurs do. That's what you guys need to do.
That wasn't a big message. It was part of it because you should, if you're really open-minded and trying to learn and trying to get better. Don't just look at ourselves. Look at what the really good teams are doing and how they do it. And the Spurs have been doing it that way for years, over a decade now. And they have a lot of success because they cut really hard, they set screens, and they're unselfish. And we see it firsthand last night. So it wasn't a big message going into the game because I didn't want us coming out like admiring what they're doing and being fans of it. But we definitely acknowledged it afterwards and again today in the film session. But yeah, not a huge message beforehand.